Man, I sure do love working on Rocket Man X. I wonder what else I should add to the game today.
Coins. Coins.
Well, I'm being haunted.
No, wait. I am the unquiet shade of Benjamin Franklin, long since withdrawn from the affairs of the living, yet now by some strange providence, summoned again from eternity.
Yeah, I gather. What are you doing in my house?
I am come, sir, not for mischief nor curiosity, but to tender my advice in a certain bold and hazardous enterprise, commonly styled Rockin' Man X.
Yeah, I gather. What are you doing in my house?
Pray pardon me. Either my ears deceive me, or thou art seized by most uncommon fit of repetition. Sir, I once bore a hand in the direction of a raw and quarrelsome people, who knew not whether they were to be a nation or a footnote, and I humbly submit that some small acquaintance with design, or a management of ambitious projects may thereby be allowed me, reject such counsel outright, and thy game, like many well-meaning republic, may languish unseen and expire unregretted. For pray, consider this engine before us. By what rational means are thy players to enrich themselves or improve their instruments when single-peggedly convenient to stand as their whole treasury? Expectation without provision, sir, is but another name for disappointment.
You know what? You're right.
To add new methods of getting coins, I added an object called BP Break. This object has a static mesh and two values. The first is its wholesale value, which is the amount of coins that it wants to drop. The other is a random price difference. A random float between itself and its negative inverse is added to the original, and that's how many coins it drops. Most of them have a regular value of 10 and a random value of 1. Then I made a child actor for each breakable object. Basically, it inherits the original code, but the object it displays and the coin values will always be the same. The randomness is still added to it, it's just the random number and the original number are always going to be the same for each barrel, and stuff like that.
There, you happy now?
Nay, this endeavor that you completed only consumed a time of 3 winter days.
Look, I got other UI stuff to do, so just bug off.
The next thing that needed to be made was a pause screen. 9 months into the game, and this is the first time I've decided to make one. It follows a simple Mega Man formula. All the weapons that you could need are displayed in the center thing. Of course, it's just a functional pause screen. Once the game is completely functional, I'll go back and change some aesthetic stuff. Ignore that I did some aesthetic changing in December. In the top right, it will display every piece of armor that Rocket has, and a version of Rocket that changes colors based off what weapon you currently have equipped. Over on the left are the sub-tanks. They work exactly as they do in Mega Man X. Finally, in the bottom right, you have the Options button. As of right now, pressing the pause button doesn't unpause the game, and I don't know how to fix it. I have tried, but it doesn't work all the time. Clicking the resume button works fine. There are also a bunch of buttons that make you stop playing the level. And then there's the settings menu. This is just tabs to other settings. I won't go into details, but most of them are volume sliders or different control options. The real kicker is when I had to add controller support.
What? I don't need an excuse to want to add controller support.
Unreal Engine makes it easy to play the game using controllers. All you have to do is add alternate control options for the game and set them up as controller inputs. The hard part was navigating UI using them. What I ultimately did was had a white square that goes to whatever button you want to hover over and then just goes there. There are a lot of math involved for how to make this work, and frankly I don't want to relive it, but what I will relive is my rage towards input key selectors that Unreal Engine has. These things must have been designed by Joe Biden himself. They can't detect mouse events, they can't detect controller inputs by default, they can't detect start buttons on a controller, you can't call their on-click events as a function, you can't rename their buttons, so you're stuck with this gamepad face button left. I spent days trying to figure this out. Eventually I found the solution. Delete them! You can make your own widgets, so I just made W input key selector better. It's a button with text on it that can detect any inputs, including start and mouse buttons. It has one limitation, and that its mouse buttons only work if you're still hovering on them, but other than that, they should be good. And now, I can completely control what it displays. Also, the on-click is now a function, and you can call it with controllers.
So you were attempting to base your game upon Mega Man X?
Yes? Why?
No particular reason for alarm. I merely observe that in Mega Man X, when the arm parts are obtained, X acquires not only an improvement of strength, but an additional faculty, namely the ability to charge very weapons taken from defeated bosses, thereby making more useful than before.
Okay. How do you know about that?
Rocket will unlock charged weapons when he gets one of the 2 arm upgrades, although only one of them is in the demo for now. For some of the weapons, they don't need to be a charged variant. For instance, the water that is already in the game fires based off holding the mouse, not releasing it. The weapons that you get from Blade Beetle and Blast Berry will be the same, but I haven't added them yet, so that's irrelevant. For the Bazinga attack, I figured that giving the player the final flare would be great. It deals a ton of damage, but its consequence is that the player's health and fire ammo are both set to 1, as all final flashes should. The charged hologram is the ultimate Echo Sonic Doom. You can use it to break this glass barrier, keeping you from this sub-tank.
And pray inform me, what is the present obstruction that so delays the progress?
I can't think of a charged weapon for the ice.
In that case, it may not be improper to examine the conduct of Igloo Iguana in his own engagement. For does he not employ some sort of peculiar artifice, which Rocket himself may reasonably imitate without offense to good design?
No, Igloo 1 only has 3 attacks. One of them is just the lasers, the other one is already being used by Rocket as the regular ice weapon, and the third one is completely useless unless it's used by Igloo 1 in his boss arena.
Then let us, for a moment, lay aside what is impractical and consider whether a diffusive cloud of ice, spreading itself abroad and freezing all whom it enters, might not answer the purpose more effectually.
Good job, brother.
Brother, sir, I must beg to know what relation you thus address me.
My brother came up with the idea first.
I am then at a loss to comprehend why, possessing such a domestic wisdom already, you should trouble the spirit of a long-dead philosopher at all.
Next up was adding a horse to race in the horse race part of the horse level.
And so, without so much as the civility introduction, that was to play.
It was a lot easier than expected. What I did was clone Rocket's motorcycle variant, and then add these white dots to the horse level, so that it can follow a path along the racetrack. This does lead to the horse getting stuck or falling off the racetrack if pushed in the right way, or if the computer lags too much, but overall I think that players will just prefer to race against him.
We ought, sir, to return thanks to the province itself, that so many considerable an advance hath been effected with the compass of a single month.
I agree. Say that again?
We ought, with becoming humility, to acknowledge the hand of God.
Aha! Ben Franklin was the least religious founding father.
I was never so barren of faith, the schoolmen and pamphleteers have since represented me. Whatever names they fixed upon my opinions, I've held no reverence for the divine and common practices among the present generation.
You said was. If you were really Ben Franklin, you would have said I am. You're not Ben Franklin at all. You're George Washington. This explains so much. It explains you thinking you were president. This explains you knowing Mega Man X gameplay. You were just slipping out of character.
Confound it all. The mask is torn away and I'm betrayed by my own tongue.
You just lie about everything. You lied about being Ben Franklin. You lied about your position on slavery.
I recanted, sir. To change one's judgment upon reflection is not a lie, but the very privilege of reason.
I bet you lied about not lying about the cherry tree.
And what then? Will thou summon the injured spirits of old soldiers to cross-examine me from the grave?
One thing you didn't know about when creating the Second Amendment was modern weapons.
He knew about modern weapons.
Also, I couldn't find a good place to put it, but the armor upgrade station is now toy boxes.